Welcome back to the channel. This week on the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, it's time to get those chili seeds in, even though it's the middle of winter. And crutches and all, I get out into the back garden to give it a post-holiday tidy up and do a wee bit of harvesting. Come potter with me in the garden. My name is Dawn and I am the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Good afternoon. Well, it is Monday and I'm back to my normal routine. Well, as normal as it can be at the moment. So yes, I'm still on crutches and I am managing a tiny distance, like 1 or 2 steps without them. So that's good, but generally I need them to get from A to B. But with the help of the family today, I have set myself up here to begin the journey of my chili seed raising this year. This morning they helped me tidy up my seed propagation area, get my heated mats out and things like that. And this afternoon I've set myself up with their help to do my chilies as far as pre-soaking them. You don't have to pre-soak your seeds, but it does help a bit. So you can soak them for around 12 to 24 hours beforehand in warm water. So I am going to do that to see if I can get a good strike rate. Last year was the first year that I sort of delved into some of the really, really hot chilies. I normally had sort of got up to a cayenne red one, which I think is around maximum of 50,000 Scovilles. That was the highest I'd ever done. But last year I tried the orange habanero and I can't remember, what was the other one I did? I can't remember. Oh, I did the lemonade. That were the two that were the really hot ones that I did. The lemonade only goes up to around about 30,000 Scoville, but the orange habanero goes up to, let me check, what does it say? 350,000. So that's odd. This year I've got even braver and I've decided to do a Scotch bonnet, a red Scotch bonnet, which goes up to 400,000. So that's definitely hot enough for me. I probably won't try it, it'll be the family that will do that. But I'll go through which ones I have chosen this year. I have not been able to get the orange habanero. I ordered my chilies, I think about 6 weeks ago, and I can't remember exactly, 6 weeks is a long time ago for me. I think there was none available at the time, and I've just checked to see if there's any available, but they still say they're sold out. And I've checked other places and yeah. Now my orange habanero didn't have a great strike rate last year, new to me, and I was learning about chilies per se more. But I did get one decent one and he is still there. He's nice and dry. I've let him dehydrate naturally in a warm cupboard, and he's done very well. So I'm actually going to crack him open in a few minutes and see if he's got any seeds for me, and I will plant those. So what chili seeds have I got this year? Well, I decided to do a few new ones. Now, a really, really unhot chili is one that I got called candy cane. And I must admit, I got it because it looked pretty. And I thought it was probably one that I could manage because most I can't. I like them, but they don't like me. They make me go, hot for hours. So yeah, so I got that one. The other one that I did last year, similar to the red cayenne, but a way less heat in it, was the Arpeggio cayenne, and I can't remember the exact amount, but I think it's around about 5,000 Scoville, so it's way less hot. I'm doing the lemonade again, quite like them. Doing my cayenne again, like to have them for just the pantry. I just dehydrate them and then the family can use them for cooking if they want. Going to do the orange hab, as I said, but going to use my own seed. I think I've got one seed left in the packet, and I've got some yellow habanero as well, so I'll have nice colour. And the hot one is the Scotch bonnet, so that's what I'm up to this year with my chilies. Now, in the past, I've usually started my chilies right at the beginning of July, but until last year, never had any heat pads, so they were germinating in the ambient temperature of the house. But last year I had the heat pads, and of course they zoomed away and they were ready way too early for me to put out in the greenhouse. So I've backed it off a whole month because I've been away, and I'm just about to get them ready to plant. So they'll get soaked tonight and planted tomorrow. With the family's help. They are moving things around for me, setting me up and that sort of thing, and then leaving me to it, keep me out of their hair. So gloves on, because the last thing you need is chili oil on your hands, because even a dry chili will have a certain amount of oil, and then to touch your lips and or eyes and things like that, last thing you want to do. So gloves, knife, chili, plate, and I will do a wee bit of chili surgery. Well, not a huge number of seeds, but I had no idea exactly if they were a huge seed producer or not. But I got 8 seeds, which is more than enough for me. I need maybe 1 or 2, well, at least 2 for me, so that you've got your backup one. And then anything extra I've got for different projects and things like that, so they're my backup ones. Especially if I get things like, hopefully not, dampening off or anything as I'm growing them from seed, but there's always that risk when you're planting them indoors on heat pads and things like that. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So that's the inside of my chili pod, and he is a wee bit soft, so I might put him, and I've got a few others in, not of that one but of other chilies, into the dehydrator or the oven in the next day or two, and just completely dry them out, and then grind them up, because I've just used them for chili powder this year. Maybe if I get a few more this coming summer, I can do individual powders. Or if I get enough of any particular chili, because I didn't get a huge crop last season, I might do some chili oils or something like that. But at the moment, what I've got, I'll turn into just chili powder. So I've just grabbed some little ramekins out of the cupboard and labelled them so that I know what's what. I'm only soaking 6 lots tonight because I haven't actually got the Apache ones. For some reason didn't order them, so I'll have to grab some in the next week or so and get them started ASAP after that. But so I'm just going to pop probably about 6 seeds in each container and soak them overnight, and then we'll go from there and see. I'll have to cover them, because if I don't cover them with Glad wrap or something like that, Bo will be in there flicking the water out and the seeds and what have you. And the last thing I need is a cat that's been flicking chili seeds around and then licks his paw. That would be a disaster. So for safety's sake, I'll be covering them with Glad wrap until tomorrow morning. So I'll catch you up tomorrow and we'll look at getting these planted and onto the seed mats. Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, and a very, very, very cold Tuesday, so you could call it a chilly Tuesday. Sorry about the pun. So, yep, I'm here with my chilies again. They've soaked overnight, and I'm just soaking some trays of seed raising mix at the moment that I've made myself through sieving my compost stuff. Unfortunately, this stuff's been sitting in a container for some time and it's got really, really dry, so it's quite hydrophobic. So I'm busy trying to moisten it, because it's really important that you sow your seeds in moist soil. If you put them into hydrophobic soil now, they'll just never germinate properly, because you're not going to get that soil really moist at any time. It's just going to run off the top like an umbrella. So I think I covered most things yesterday, the chili seeds, soaking them, popping them into seed trays. They need warmth. They need anywhere between 25 and 30 degrees to germinate. So that's why I've got the seed raising mats. As I said yesterday, I previously did them in ambient temperature, which in here in my area is roughly between 18 and 20 degrees, which is way too cold for chilies. They do eventually germinate, but they just take forever and you get a really low strike rate. At least with doing them this way, they're getting the optimal temperature. So in theory, you should get a good strike rate. I did know I remembered last year that my orange habs just didn't do well. Not sure why, just maybe the seed, who knows. But I'm going to get the soil as moist as possible and then plant them up, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, done. All labelled. I've got a gap in there for the Apache chilies that I've still got to buy. But yeah, may or may not put them there, we'll see. But get these onto the heat, and probably about 10 to 12 days we should see something, fingers crossed. But anyway, it's just about to hail like anything outside, so I'll finish for today and catch up when the weather actually improves. Cheers. Good afternoon. It's Friday, and I can't say that it's warm out here, but I'm determined to get out and do some work. The family's kindly set me up on a spot, and hopefully I'll be able to manoeuvre around. I've still got my friendly crutches. Someone asked to see how I would cope with my crutches and things like that outside, so I'll try and show you the best I can. At times I can manage with just one on the side that my leg's playing up, but other times, because of the steepness of the ground and all the unevenness of the ground, I need two so that I don't twist my leg. Bo's just wandered through just to check on me and make sure I'm okay. Using the crutches this time's a wee bit different from my previous experience. My previous experience using elbow crutches, I used them for 3 months when my back last gave out, and for about 3 to 4 months after the surgery that I had after that first 3-month block. So for approximately 6 to 7 months I used them. But that was because of my back, so I wasn't having to think about which leg to lead with, because when you've got a bung leg, you want to lead with your good leg and try and have your crutches in full contact with the ground and support when you're using your bum leg. So I have to keep thinking as I'm doing it now, lead with this leg, lead with the left, and make sure that both my crutches are down when I'm using my right. So I'm getting there, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks I can ditch these. I mean, it's certainly getting better. It just, I have done all the medial, so that's the inner ligaments in my right knee, and they just need time. They'll get better, they just need time. Now, while I was away, of course the garden just kept on gardening as it does, but there was a couple of areas I didn't quite get to before I left for a bit of attention, and the garlic was one of them. I'm not overly thrilled with my garlic this year. It's come up rather patchy. There's areas where I've got no strike at all, and it can't be like one bulb sort of thing, because it could be because I did bulb at a time. Yeah, it could be that. So some bulbs, like one bulb there seems to have done well. Maybe another couple of bulbs over here, because I had 4 bulbs in total, but this area here, very patchy. I haven't got much at all. So they finally come up. They were really slow to come up, which probably is user error on my part. I may have popped them down a bit too deep. It's always sort of a, are they deep enough or are they not deep enough sort of thing. So they have come up and they're looking, what I've got, quite healthy. It's very weedy, so I want to tidy that up today. I've got netting on it, just the green plastic square stuff, and that was just to stop the boys scratching at it and lifting up the bowl, the clothes. So I may lift that today to weed, or I'll just weed around it. I'll see how I go. But I'm hoping, even though that they're sort of only about that big, the green leaves, that it's only early August, and so they've got till late December, so they've still got a good few months, 4 or 5 months, to actually do their thing. So fingers crossed I do get a decent crop out of them. So that would be good. One of the things I've got to watch for is rust, and my leeks, 2 beds over, have got rust, and I'm going to have a go at them later. But I wanted to deal with the garlic before I went near the leeks and inadvertently transferred the rust. So I'll bring you down and show you what the garlic looks like, and then we'll do a bit of weeding and a bit of probably speedy as I'm getting at the moment, and just weed the patch. Right, so you won't see me, but yeah, so that's the garlic. I've got sort of like 1, 2, 3, 5 that have come up there, but then nothing to the end of the road. Most of that row came up with they all came up along there. But I've got a few here and then nothing over there, and then gaps here too. So, and of course it's all weedy. So I'm going to give it a good weed now, and we'll have a look at it at the end of it. Okay, so that's that tidied up. As you can see, I had some unsolicited help from Louis. He just would not stop rolling on the garlic and what have you. At one point, the family were out here. I turned the camera off during that, but they tried to get him off and he just kept getting onto it. They gave up and went back inside. I know while I was away he missed me. He kept trying to get the family who were staying here to go out into the garden with him, but yeah, none of them are gardeners. He's busy. I don't know if you can see it on camera because I can't quite see the whole thing, but he's busy batting the water on the cabbage leaves again. We'll have a wee look at the cabbages in a minute. But I got the garlic tidied up. I lifted the first net up and then realised trying to get it back down in the exact spot wasn't going to help, but so I tried to do the rest through the netting, which wasn't exactly useful. I mean, it was, was having trouble getting it out, but it's cleaned up. Now the big thing I need to do next week or next 4 or 5 days is just come out and give the garlic a feed, because garlic is a heavy feeder, and once it comes up you are supposed to feed it, and mine's been up in dribs and drabs for a wee while now, so it needs a damn good feed. So I'll do that. I just need to find where I've put the feed, because I did that big tidy up at the garage and I put things on cupboards and things like that, so just got to remember where I put it. I'm just going to use sheep pellets for my feed, for my garden, for my garlic. So, yeah. So before I went away, my broccoli had been ready and I was picking that bit by bit. But unfortunately, while I was away, there must have been some warmish weather in between, cold spells, and it's bolted. Now, I cleaned it up the other day. The family set me up and I cleaned up the broccoli, and there was several flowering heads, and I've left them for the bees. Surprisingly, a lot of bumblebees and a few honeybees around, so I've left them, the flowers, for the bees. The other thing that I had hoped that was going to survive while I was away, as far as not bolting, was my Romanesco cauliflower, but unfortunately it was just at the point of being ready before I left, and over that 10 days it just went poof, and yeah, so that's all going to have to go to the compost bin, which is a shame, but yeah, it is what it is. However, my however, my cabbages, my green cabbages, were ready before I left, and I harvested one, and I had hoped that they won't bolt, and they haven't. One has split, and I'll show it to you in a minute, and that's probably due to the rain that we've had. The other one next to it is just starting to split, but I'm going to harvest both of them. I've got 3 other green ones over there that will hopefully stay as is for the next week or 2. My red are not really doing anything, and I haven't really had a good look at the Savoy ones yet, so I'll have a look at them in a second. But the red ones are often a lot slower, and I find that they're more a spring harvest, but the green ones are, well and truly ready to go. Okay, so there's the 2 cabbages that need. As you can see, this one's splitting, and as I said, probably due to the rain, but it also they'll split just before they bolt and send up their flower stems. This one has literally just started to split. Now, they did get pelted the other day in the hail, so the top leaves will have taken the impact, and hopefully the lower leaves are still okay. So I'm just going to harvest them, and I'll come back to you once I've done it. This is the split cabbage. I've taken the outer leaves off at the moment, but I'll take it inside and delve down and see what I can salvage. Probably can salvage a good part of it. It's good weighty cabbage though. So onto the other one. Right, this is the second cabbage. This is the one that was just starting to split. I don't think from the feel of them that they were starting to go to seed. I think it's just straight the fact that they have had so much water in the last few days that they're splitting. But that's another weighty one, so yeah, I'll tidy it up again inside. Lou's back, by the way. Now, how do I get from here to places like the compost bins using my crutches? Well, I've found in the past, and it's worked this time, is that I can, if I've got a bag or a bucket or something like that, I can hook it over the handle of my crutch and wander off doing that way. So I'm going to go and wander off to the compost bin because I've got a full bucket, so I'll leave the tape running. Oh, and by the way, these crutches are left and right-handed. Usually they're just either, but these ones have got moulded handles, so they're a wee bit more tricky to use as far as remembering what hand's what. So, right, that's it. See, I've got it over the handle like that, and that way I can carry it from A to B without affecting using the crutches. Okay, so one of the things I do need to harvest is some carrots because we're out in the house. So, and these ones are starting to regrow, probably because of the warmer weather we've had in between the really cold snaps. So they're starting to put up some secondary shoots, and yeah, I'll show you this one here. It's classic for that. So I'm going to harvest some carrots, and hopefully I can do it because I'm not quite sure how well I'm going to be able to sort of pull and do it from sitting down, but yeah, so I've just pulled that top off. Yeah, so let me see how I go first before I embarrass myself in front of this. Well, that didn't work very well. I tried to get this one out, and as you can see, I've broken it in half, but you can see that they've also split, and this is because of having that dry period way back, was it June? May, June? Yeah. And then having the heavy rains in between. So it was dry, then really wet, then we had another dry period. And you can also see that it started to put up some secondary growth. So it did get a bit battered the other day in the rain, but you can just see that secondary growth there. So I might have to go and get the family, or text them and get them to come out and give me a hand so that I can pull a few carrots for this weekend's dinner. That's nuisance. But I won't waste this, because what I'll do is I'll cut it off there and then cut the bits off that aren't any good, and then I chop them up, the good bits. I chop them up and either into reasonably chunky sizes or to really fine sizes. Chunky ones I freeze and use for stews, so I can just grab carrots out of the freezer any time and dump them into a stew. All the finer ones, same thing, freeze them and I use them for soups. So yeah, they don't go to waste. I salvage as much as I can. So yeah, give me a few minutes. I've managed to get started without needing to call the family. So once you get started and you've got that sort of wiggle room gap, these are a bit difficult to get the foliage out, because I actually tied the foliage up because it kept collapsing onto other things. So yeah, that's a good one. And this is where it's got a wee split there. This is where I quite like the touchon, because it's got the flatter rounder end rather than the big long tapered end. It's just got the small root thing, and I just find that they're easier to harvest. I think in past vlogs I've shown you the difficulties I've had to try and get out the parsnips, because they put out really long ones, and someone did say to me that was specific more to the hollow crown, which is the one I really like. So you've got to balance the difference between what you like and trying to get them out. Parsnips I'm going to look at next week, because they have the foliage collapsed, so they probably need to come out before they start setting up secondary growth too. But I'm going to harvest a few more of these and I'll come back to you after that. Okay, so I've harvested about a third of the row. Looking at them, I could have probably thinned them a wee bit more, but they're okay. What happens is if you're not thinning them properly, this sort of things happens, but that's okay. That was perfectly usable. I got a few more split ones, but as I said, I'll use them. Now, someone asked me, I don't think it was on the YouTube channel, I think it was probably on one of my Facebook posts or something, either in my page, the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, or one of the other pages I admin, sort of said, oh, well, you shouldn't be harvesting your carrots all the time, all at once. Why are you not harvesting them as you need them? Sometimes I harvest them all at once because I need the space, because I have limited garden space. Other times the reason I harvest a fair few, and I've done about a third of a row here, is, and I know this may not sound the best, but if they're not scrubbed ready to go, the family won't come out and get them. So yeah, they won't come out and harvest anything. I have to do the harvesting, get everything ready and what have you. Yeah, I know it's not the best, but sometimes they'll come out and get the odd lettuce or a tomato, and they'll definitely come out and get the strawberries. But things like carrots and parsnips and what have you, yeah, they just can't be faffed. Whereas I really love getting in here and getting my carrots and parsnips and seeing what's what. So yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I harvest. So I've probably got enough here now for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean, we're fairly big carrot eaters in our family. So yeah, we probably most meals, or at least every second meal, have carrots. So yeah. Anyway, I am going to tidy up here, and then I'm going to go and have a peek at my swedes, because some time ago, must be 6 weeks or more ago, I tidied them up and I mounded them up because they were sticking up above the soil. And in the past, when I've had them stick up above the soil, they just get sort of long and not very useful. So I'm hoping by having mound them up, a bit like what you can do for onions and things like that, that they will actually fully get nice and globy, which is what I want. So give me a bit, I'll get the family to come out and help me, and I'll reposition. Okay, so I've moved. You won't be able to see much of me, but just having a look at these. Unfortunately, some of them look like the stems, pull that one off, have a bit of powdery mildew, which I suppose with the warm weather and the wet weather and then the warm weather, yeah, it was bound to happen. But I'm going to just quietly tidy up this side because the family have just moved me over here so that I can do a bit of this, and then just behind me is the leeks, which I need to tidy up too. So I'll get started with this, and if I find anything interesting I'll bring you back. Right, I tidied up half of that. Unfortunately I found some green grey aphids, quite a lot of green grey aphids, especially around the base of the stem, so that's a bugger. They do seem to be bulbing up underneath, which is great because, as I said, I've not had a huge amount of luck with them bulbing in the past. They just sort of go stemmy. They're edible, but they're just not as good as, you know, those nice big round ones that I grew up knowing. But anyway, I'll probably have to harvest them in the next few weeks, because once the aphids get into them, they just suck the life out of the plant, and yeah, and then it becomes a nursery for them to head over to other stuff. I thought I had seen just like a tiny number of them over on the broccoli the other day, but yeah, now I can see where the source has been. It's these, and last year it was these that started it as well, so I really don't want them on all my other stuff. So if I can harvest these soon and eliminate what they're hanging out on, hopefully I can stop them infesting the rest of the garden. On to my leeks. So I did a different variety of leeks this year. Not sure why. I think maybe the ones I wanted weren't available or something. And they're more sort of like strappy, you know, flat strap leaves. And they've got rust, unfortunately, and I mean, rust is airborne, there's not a lot you can do about it. But what I do want to do is prevent it from spreading to my garlic. So I'm just going to quietly sit here and work my way through, I probably won't get them all done today, and remove any excessively rusty leaves. They were rusty before I went away, but I just didn't get a chance to sit here and do it. So I'm going to do it now. So I'll bring you back at the end of doing it and I can show you what I've done. Okay, so that's that done. Quite pleased with that. I did actually manage to get the whole lot done. While I was doing it though, I did have a thought that maybe not everyone, especially, you know, new gardeners, will know what rust is. Rust is airborne, and it's just a fungal type thing, and you can dump the leaves that you take off in your compost because it's fungal and airborne. It won't continue through composting or anything. It won't bother. It's a bit like powdery mildew in the sense that, you know, it's airborne, it's everywhere, so you're going to get it sooner or later. But rust literally looks like rust on that, so it's just bright yellow spots it starts off as. Now, why is it important to get it off? Or, you know, try and reduce the effects of it? Mainly because as the rust progresses across the leaves and what have you, that it'll get worse and worse. The plant will have less photosynthesis, which is what it needs to produce, you know, grow and things like that and produce the food. And as that happens, the leaves will become brittle and start dying, and the plant becomes weak. Now, once the plant becomes weak, first of all, you're not going to get a great crop out of it, but secondary, for some reason, and I don't know the science behind it, but the bugs realise this and they will seek out plants that are weak. So, as I said, I've unfortunately got green-grey aphid over there. And those little buggers will come over and they will start attacking and the plant and will sap the strength of the plant, what's left of it, and the plant will just die completely, so you're left with nothing for harvest. So it's good to try and see if you can remove as much as possible. You're not going to get rid of it completely, but the aim is just to get your plant through to harvest point. The other thing that I was doing while I was picking this off was just removing any dead bits and leeks and onions and garlic and what have you. Their outer leaves will just give up and die naturally. It's just part of their evolution of growth. But you don't want them hanging around because they become a draw card to the aphids as well. And also, once the plant is really weak with the aphids and things like that, the other thing that will move in at the right time, so like early springish, you may get black fly as well. So they're opportunistic as well. So you want to try and reduce the plant becoming weak and get it through to the harvest point. The reason why I probably have green-grey aphids over there is, despite the fact that I've thinned them out and tidied up the leaves and what have you, I haven't done it for about 6 weeks, and there was a good amount of dead foliage laying around the ground area. So it's probably just been an invitation card for them to move in. But plus, I initially planted them way too many seeds. I had a fairly well expired pack of seeds, swede seeds, and I thought, oh, I'll be lucky if I get any. And I planted the lot and the whole lot came up, so I had way too many for the area that I planted them. And I did thin it out. I thinned it out at least twice, maybe 3 times. But yeah, it still had a huge amount of leaf, and yeah, so I will be sorting them out in the very near future. Right, I think I've done my deed for the day. It's almost 3 o'clock. While the sun's come out now and it's quite nice out here, I'm sort of running out of steam, so I'm going to go on in and sort those cabbages out and those carrots, give them a good wash, and then peel off the excess cabbage and deal with it too. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with the cabbage. I'm sort of playing with the idea of sort of like freezer pickle type thing, just so low acid and what have you, and just pack it into a jar. I'm not really into fermentation. I know a lot of people are. I just have never quite got my head around it, and I know that I'm not overly keen on the taste of sauerkraut and things like that. Hubby likes it, but yeah, maybe one day I'll make some sauerkraut and see how it tastes. But anyway, for now, that'll be the vlog for this week, and I will catch you up with a coffee and a chat probably tomorrow morning. So see you then. Right, it's that time of week where we have a coffee and a chat, though it's Saturday afternoon, so I've got a cup of tea instead. So what did we do this week? Well, the chilies are in and they're doing quite well. No sign of anything yet, and I'm not expecting it to be, so it'll probably be later next week that I hopefully will see something. So fingers crossed with those. What else did we do? We tidied the back garden up. So, well, most of it, not all of it. So we did the garlic with Louis' help. Bless him. He absolutely stunk of garlic afterwards. Even though he was just rolling on the leaves, he did smell of garlic. We harvested some cabbages and some carrots, which was great. It's good to get something out of the garden and in the fridge ready for use. I'll finish the other half of the swedes this week and see whether they need to start being harvested. I don't want to leave them in too long because of the green-grey aphid. I do not want it spreading around. So yeah, they may just come out early anyway. And the leeks are all sorted out and looking much better. So I'm pretty happy with what I got done with the family's help, considering I've still got my friendly crutches here. But yeah, next week I've got to look at the list, but I'm pretty sure I've got to do the hydrangeas out the front door area. That won't take much. They just need a clip and a tidy up. So, and I might actually even be a wee bit harder on them this year because I need to get them away from the house. We're planning to paint the house. It's been 10 years since it's been painted, so I just need to be aware that I need to keep things away from the house so that when the house is painted, there's room for it. Other things I need to get done is move the last of the plants that are in the front border. And I've also got a couple of other things lurking from before I went away. A couple of raspberry canes that need moving, and the potted strawberries that I never actually finished doing. Done all the big bed and split all them, but I had about 5 pots that I meant to tip out, split up and sort out, and I haven't done that yet. So there's a get round to it list that needs to be dealt with next week. Just like to thank everyone that's subscribed today. It's always a bit of a buzz when I see that number going up, and I always appreciate anyone who subscribes. You can also find me on my Facebook page by the same name, the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, and I post there most days about what I'm up to, what the cats are up to, and what's going on in the garden. But I think I'll leave it there now, and I'll catch up with you again next week. So until next week's vlog, it's bye from me.